The Independent Electoral Commission is hosting electoral bodies from around the world. The three-day conference in Cape Town is focusing on various aspects of election management, including conducting fair polls. This is the first meeting of the Association of World Election Bodies, also known as AWEB, on the African continent. Our reporter Mbali Thethani is tracking it for us. She's live to us now from Cape Town. And Mbali, it sounds like, today's events are already well underway. What do we know about what we can expect from this three-day conference today?
Well, that's certainly right, and of course we are coming to you live from the Cape Town International Convention Centre, and this is where the IEC is indeed hosting the 5th General Assembly. Of course, we know that at least 110 countries will be converging here from today, and of course this is where they will be discussing a number of challenges that faces the electoral bodies, and just trying to find the various solutions in how they will tackle the issues around the electoral bodies, and basically the voting trends that we continue to see the world over. Of course, joining us now, we are joined by Janet Love. She is the Vice Chairperson of the IEC. Janet, thank you very much for joining us here on Newzroom Afrika. Of course, this is the first time that AWEB gets to be hosted on the African continent and in South Africa in particular.
That's absolutely correct, and we're delighted that that has taken place. Good morning to you and to all of the viewers.
What does it mean, when you look at AWEB and the role it plays, especially for electoral bodies, throughout the world and in particular in South Africa?
Well, I think that AWEB has always been a mechanism through which different electoral bodies share experiences, share difficulties, and then look at common possible solutions, so that the experience sharing, the capacity building, the support that can be rendered, the research that is undertaken, all of those things play a critical role in professionalizing the work that we do, and I think also plays a role in ensuring that all electoral management bodies begin to aspire to even greater standards. You see your colleagues doing something so well, you want to do better. And I think that that's been a very, very big part of this organization.
And, this 5th General Assembly also comes at a very important time. Just not so long ago, as the IEC, you held that research seminar where you looked at the trends that currently face, the South African space when it comes to low voter turnout. When you look at just last year's local government elections, we also know that, the youth are also a very, difficult area to look at when it comes to that they are not going to the polls and are not voting. And that is something that you're going to try and tackle today to see if whether you will try and get more young voters to come on board and to play their part in this democracy.
Absolutely. The issue of youth and generally the issue of participation is a critical factor, and the next 3 days will in fact be looking at that. And I think so many of the electoral management bodies are recognizing the kinds of threats that that are posed to democracy if there isn't participation. At the same time, I think there are also a lot of other challenges to democracy that the various electoral management bodies are also having to embrace. The confidence in electoral systems, the possibility that various electoral systems can build greater accountability or not, the possibility of transparency. Disinformation is a huge issue throughout the world. So there are all of those kinds of challenges which have really eroded the confidence of particularly young people in democracy, and those are challenges that we're all confronting.
Another quite important thing that South Africa is faced with, Janet, is the issue around that deadline that has been given to Parliament by the Constitutional Court of December 10th. How important is, for this a decision to be taken so that you are able to prepare for the 2024 elections? I know that the IEC, continues to reach out and says that, well, this is something that will be quite difficult, to navigate, especially when we are looking at those independent candidates being placed on the ballot paper.
Look, I think that the Commission is very clear that we need the time from December to do the various things we have to do. And we hope that the parliamentary process will be able to conclude its work within the time frames. We recognize that, there are going to be processes. But from our point of view, we have to have certainty so that we can put in place the appropriate systems, that we can have those systems tested so that they have the confidence of all of the contestants, both independents as well as political parties. We then have to train staff. We then have to enable those contestants to train their own staff. We then have to make the public completely aware of what those systems are going to be, how they are going to be able to go into a polling booth and know what is happening. So all of that takes time, and to have anything less than December is really going to make our elections not as good as they should be.
And very important to run credible elections in 2020.
Very, very important. Our country deserves it, so we really need that. And as the Commission, we are saying we are committed to doing everything within what will already be a short space of time for us. But to make it any shorter really, really undermines what needs to happen.
All right. Just lastly, what can we expect today?
We can expect today, first of all, the formal handing over of the presidency of the AWEB from the Indian Electoral Commission to the South African Electoral Commission. We then also will have various processes around possible accepting new applications for membership. We'll have the appointment of the next Vice President of AWEB, and then we'll be talking about the kinds of issues that we've been discussing, about the challenges that face us all and how we can improve what we do.
All right, thank you very much. Of course, that is Janet Love. She is the Vice Chairperson of the IEC. Quite important there, as she's, just laid out to us around the challenges that continues to face not just the IEC, but, election bodies from across the world.
Incredibly important conference this, as we take stock of the state of our democracies. Mbali Thethani, live to us in Cape Town. Thanks very much indeed.